All right, we will get started here. We'd like to welcome the defending champion of the World Golf Championships Dell Technologies Match Play, Billy Horschel, into the interview room. Billy, as we were walking in, you mentioned you didn't get to come into the interview room last year after winning, so welcome. How does it feel to be back on the property here at Austin Country Club?
Yeah, it feels great. You know, when we moved here from the West Coast, fell in love with the golf course. I think it's a perfect golf course to hold a match play event on. And then everyone knows how great the town of Austin is and the people are. They come out and support this event tremendously. And, yeah, it's always fun to come back here. The weather's going to be great this year. We got through last night unscathed, thankfully. And so looking forward to another great week and hopefully, you know, maybe being able to duplicate what I did last year.
All right, we'll take some questions out here from the media. If you have a question, we'll get a microphone to you. We will start here on the aisle with Rex Hoggard.
Billy, you've won other events before, but was this one more grueling physically or mentally?
I'm going to say physically. I got home, you know, and Sunday night and Monday and Tuesday, and even in the Wednesday, I was exhausted. I remember Tiger, you know, people texting me, and I was responding back to text messages, and I remember talking with Tiger and being like, man, I'm exhausted. Like 7 rounds in 5 days. Yes, we know how long it can be, but I mean, I was just absolutely wiped out, you know, and both physically and mentally, but just the physical part of it, just playing so much golf. Probably it doesn't help, you know, the week before I had a week off, and then before that I had 3 weeks on. So it's just one of these weeks where, you know, it can be a mental challenge, or it could be a physical challenge, or it could be both, depending on how well you're playing and some of the matches you got to go through.
And did you still feel it at the Masters? I know that was a week later.
No, I think what may have just happened is that my prep the week before the Masters, I just didn't do nearly as much just because I was just exhausted, tired, sort of a little burnt out from the game of golf. And so I sort of took it easy the week up, that week before the Masters. Maybe only started practicing 2 or 3 days before Augusta, because that Augusta stretch starts another 3-week stretch of golf for me. So, but obviously I made the cut at Augusta, and I played okay. But, yeah, I mean, everyone's different how they deal with it and how they're affected by it.
We'll go over to Ben on the right.
Billy, can a player play their way into form in match play if they've been a little bit out of it prior?
I think they can. I think it allows you to not have to be perfect. You know, in a stroke play format, you know, 1 or 2 holes in a 36-hole, you know, in the first 36 holes could cost you from making the golf tournament, making the cut, making it to the weekend, or it could even cost you from having a chance to really contend on the weekend. So in this format, you know, you could have those 1 or 2 bad holes and only be down 1 hole, and you can get your way back into it a lot easier. I think it frees you up a little bit. You're not worrying about trying to shoot a score. You're just trying to play that 1 hole the best you can right now and right then and now, and then move on to the next hole. So I think it allows you to play your way into form if you're not in form.
Other questions for Billy? We'll go to Shane right here in the front.
Thank you, Billy. Along those lines of what you've been talking about match play, if somebody came to you and said, I need your best 1 or 2 pieces of advice on this particular format, whether it's psychological, practical, what would you say?
Oh, man. I think people get too much involved in trying to play the player, in my opinion. At least that's what my own experience. I've gone out there and just tried to play a great round of golf. You know, I'm trying to birdie every hole. But there are times when, depending on the situation, what your opponent's doing, you do got to play the player a little bit. But I think if you're more or less going out there trying to play a solid round of golf, trying to, you know, birdie as many holes as you possibly can, I think you've got a better chance of being more successful that way instead of focusing so much on what that other player is doing. Because sometimes, a guy will hit it to 15 feet, and you're like, man, I got to hit this one close too. Well, he's not guaranteed to make that 15-footer. And so then you hit a bad shot, and you wind up making bogey, and the guy just has an easy two-putt par. So, like I said, I think for me, I've learned that I try to go out there and play the best I can on that hole, and then depending on what my player's doing, I adjust.
Now, in your whole career of playing match play, is there one match you look back at and think that was my favorite one, that best result or had a good moment or whatever?
There's quite a few. I think the one that I enjoyed a lot was 2007 Walker Cup. Ricky Fowler and I were playing Rory McIlroy and Johnny Caldwell in the Sunday morning foursomes. And we had gotten off to we hadn't played well the first few holes, and Johnny and Roy had played really well. And I think we were 4 down after 5, and we were 4 down after 4, I think. Buddy Marucci, our captain, tried to come over and talk to us to sort of get us going, and I sort of brushed him off and put my arm around Ricky, and I said, hey, we're good, buddy. Just let us be. We made the turn at all square, and then I think we won the next couple holes, and we wound up winning 2-1 or something. So it was just one of those fun little matches that you get down early. You know you haven't played great. You know you're going to be fine. You know you're going to wind up winning this match, and we were able to do that. So that's a really cool, one of those memorable matches.
We'll go here and then here. Yep, start right here in the front.
This is kind of a related question. If you watch a 20 handicapper playing in a C flight, a bunker shot might freak them out in a match, or even like a pitch shot from a tight lie. At this level, what's the shot that freaks you out?
There's a lot. I mean, we're talking about the Players' Championship hitting into a 25-mile-per-hour wind on 17 on what was it, Saturday. It wasn't very fun. I had to play that hole twice, and I lived there, and I've seen those conditions a lot. Every player's different. I've seen guys who have some of the chipping yips out here, and they've got a tight lie, and they're not going to hit a good chip, or they're a little nervous, and they could hit a bad chip. I saw Pat Gazzari, who was 5 under after 7 holes, a third round at Players, and he hit a shank on 17 with a pitching wedge in his hand, and there wasn't very much wind. So I think it's everybody's got their own little demons in there that, depending on the shot or depending on the hole or how it's designed or whatever it may be. I'm not going to tell you what mine are, though.
Billy, you've been out here on the tour for a while and seen a lot of stuff. If you had a chance to play Southern Hills in championship condition or in a major championship, or if you had a chance to play there at all?
I have never played there. I've only seen it on TV. I'm going to go do a little scouting trip Monday and Tuesday after Zurich to go check it out. But I think I watched had the senior players there, or some senior event there last year, some major, and I watched it on TV, and I know they had made some changes, and it looked pretty great on TV, the changes that they had made, and so I'm excited to go check it out. Obviously, it's a course that Tiger's won at, Retief Goosen's won at. It's been a course that's has some really great champions on, and I think this PGA coming up, I think you're going to see someone who's a quality player win there again.
What do you hope to get out of a scouting trip like that?
I'm more or less just going to go check it out, see some of the, see the course, see the holes. I'm not getting to the PGA until Monday. Usually I get to a major Sunday before, but I'm not going to get there till Monday night. I'm going to go see a friend in London and watch him play his last football match. So I'm going to come in Monday night, and so I'm just going 2 days early to sort of get a little prep work in the sense of the shots I may need to hit that I can practice. I'm going to have 3 weeks off.
We'll go back here to Brentley and then up here on the right aisle.
I'm curious, what's your favorite game to play at home, like on the golf course? Do you have like a game that you'd like to play? Or?
No, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't play a lot when I'm home. And when I do play, I'm just playing with some buddies, some regular buddies. And, we're just playing basic Nassau. But if we get a group of 5 tour players, I love the game of Wolf. I love that very much. I think that game goes to show you, who has the belief in themselves to go out on their own, and then also who has the talent to back up that belief in themselves to handle going against 4 other tour players and trying to win the hole and hopefully not lose it.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is obviously match play is this week. There's a team event at Zurich. Do you see a spot or maybe an opportunity for a week where you guys play Wolf or you guys play Skins or something a little bit more out of the box than just match play?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we play one match play event a year. We play one team format event a year. I play 2. I play a Shark Shootout, the QBE Shootout, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the team aspect of it. But yeah, I'm sure we can find a week or 2 in there where we can create some money games that we have at home that are fun for the viewing and the spectators, and you do get some of that smack talk out there. I know they try to do that in the match, but it doesn't sort of work out because I think you got to have guys that are natural at doing that are accustomed to doing that, and also that they don't take offense if someone does sort of say something. And I think they've had a couple of those guys on there, but I think their opponents haven't been that way, so that person can't go ahead and talk smack because the other person is going to sort of take offense to it and have an issue with it. So, I think if you got like a Kisner and myself, or I look at like a Matt Everian and a Kevin Kisner, there's several guys out here that, they can go ahead and talk some smack. I would use a different word. And the viewers would be very entertained by it. And those 2 guys are still going to be friends and not going to take any ill will over anything that's said on the golf course. So,
over here.
Yeah, Billy. Did your win here last year, did it rekindle your career, enthusiasm for your career? I know you've always had that, but
no. I mean, I work just as hard now as I've ever have.
Right.
I think, yeah. I mean, I hadn't won since 2018. I hadn't won an individual event since 2017. Golf out here is pretty tough, and some stuff that I was doing at home in practice just sort of wasn't translating over. And I think if anything, this win just, not that I really need it, but just sort of validated what I believe in myself and what I can accomplish out here.
Right.
And I'm still not done accomplishing anywhere close to what I want to. So hopefully, when I do look back at my career, hopefully this will be that win that said, hey, this is what got you that next level of winning more WC events. Mm-hmm. Winning the BMW PGA and the DPE World Tour, winning hopefully a couple majors, winning a Players Championship, winning another FedEx Cup, getting on the Ryder Cup team. Hopefully this is sort of just, I guess, is the foray point into me coming into my prime as a golfer. I guess I was more or less coming in my prime in my mid-30s instead of my early 20s and late 20s like everyone else is doing out here now.
And your memories on the match, you kind of controlled the final all the way through, winning 2 and 1. And your thoughts on Scotty Scheffler's rise since then?
That match was ugly. It wasn't pretty to watch. I felt bad for all the viewers at home watching because it was an ugly match to watch. I mean, only one birdie made between us. There was some really bad golf played, but I seem to do well in crappy golf. I seem to figure out how to get it done. But I said it last year. I think Friday or maybe Saturday, Scotty's an unbelievable talent. And at the time, I said he's going to win a lot of tournaments out here. It's just a matter of time. I mean, with the record he had as a junior and a record he had as a college player, and as quickly as he's gotten out to the PGA Tour and the success that he's had so far with contending in majors, it was just a matter of time before he got over the hump. And did I think it was going to take almost another year for him to get his first victory? No. I thought it'd be quicker, but obviously we all seen what he's done so far with 2 victories in his last 3 starts, I believe. And he's an unbelievable talent. He's the next generation. He's there with Sam Burns, who they're both 2 really good guys, and they're both friends of each other. And obviously Sam's a really good friend of mine. But they're going to be challenging the Justin Thomases, the Brooks Koepka, the Rory McIlroys, the John Rahms. They're the couple years behind those guys, obviously in age. And You know, obviously I see Scotty winning a major, and I see Sam Burns winning a major.
Got time for a couple more? We'll go to Shane and then Doug.
So we have to go back to what you were saying before. So if I'm taking the implication correctly, you think you're a better smack talker than anyone who's appeared on the match. First off.
I haven't. Phil's pretty good. But, like, when I say talk smack, I'm like, you know, I'm looking for these guys to be like, hey, you know, don't shank that 7-iron into the water over there. Or, hey, that 5-footer, you know, that one slides a little bit more to the right. Like, where's some of that you hear that I'm sure when you play with your buddies at home, you guys are saying that to each other if you got some money on the line. Like, I know I'm saying that. Like, I became a mentally tough golfer playing against Matt Every in college. Playing against him on a regular basis and hearing what he has to, what he's telling me before I'm trying to hit a golf shot, trying to get inside my head, like, you've got to perform, because last thing you want to do is hit the shot that he's saying, and then now he's going to come back at you even harder because you did exactly what he was trying to get you to do. So, like, that's where I'm like, where is some of this on the match? Like, this is what the viewers want to see at home, in my opinion. Like, yes, they can see two guys play each other or, you know, a team format any other time, but, like, they want to hear some, like, smack talk in between guys, like, you know, he hits a bad shot, like, gosh, that sucked. Like, I mean, whatever it may be. Like, I'm not good. I'm not good. I'm not going to lie. I'm not great at it. But you get me in a situation at the right time, like, I can come up with some witty things. I'm not the wittiest guy in the world. Like, I know that for a fact. That's why Kevin Kisner, Matt Every, you know, there's some other guys that are out there that are really good. But I'd be really good at playing with those guys and handling with whatever they said.
And so that was going to be my follow-up. You mentioned Kisner and Every. Pardon me. Give me a few other names of people that, you know, the average golf fan may not know who are really witty and really good at that kind of thing.
Oh. I mean, I think you could get a Henrik Stenson out there. He's got a dry sense of humor, and he can come up with some pretty good things. You know, I haven't played with a lot of guys, you know, don't play with them a lot in practice rounds and since I'm money games. I don't play with a lot of guys that, obviously there's not a lot of people that live in Ponte Vedra tour player-wise, but, I mean, you put me on the spot with names, and I can come up with two that I know for a fact that are Brian Harmon would be really good. Brian Harmon would be really good. Man, I know I'm forgetting one somewhere that's really good as well, somewhere around my age. I don't know. I mean, I guarantee you ask Kiz, he can come up with about 5 or 6 names that'd be really good for that stuff. Pat Perez, obviously. Pat just talks a lot, and Pat can be in there with those boys and have a few things to say. I'm sure you could put Harry Higgs in there. Harry would be really good. Harry's that would be entertaining and have some stuff to say. So, yeah, it was, like I said, I think it's great to get the big names in those matches because that's what's going to draw the viewership's eyes. But I think they want to see some other stuff, and when guys talk about they're going to talk smack to each other on the golf course during the match, and then the actual match happens and nothing is said, like, it's sort of a letdown. It really is a letdown because I think the viewers would be really entertained from that. I mean, I know I'm entertained when I watch the NFL stuff. You know, not the games, but you watch like Inside NFL or the Hard Knocks, and you see the guys sort of going back and forth at each other. You know, when they're playing on the football field, the cornerbacks going after wide receivers, what they're saying to each other. So, yeah.
And we'll finish up with Doug.
You all done, Shane? You're good. Two things to close with, Billy. There's a number of guys who are basically skipping a World Golf Championship this week. How much of it do you think, without reading their minds, is format, and how much with just where it is in the schedule with the Masters coming up?
Well, I think it's half and half. I know there's a lot of guys, you know, they still play here, but they don't like the format. They don't like the pool play format. They'd rather go back to the knockout stages, but I think this pool play format's been pretty successful, and you know, if I'm Michael Dell and his team, last thing I want is Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and John Rahm and Victor Hovland all being knocked out the first day of the match. So it's great that you have the pool play. You got 3 days. Give the fans 3 days to come out and see golf. I think the other portion of it that is the schedule. A lot of guys have played. You know, for me, I played Honda Bay Hill Players. I get a week off, and then I play this week. I get 1 more week off, and I play 3 more events after that. So I do think in the schedule-wise and in the run-up to this event, and then what is on the other side of this event, I think that does play a factor in not playing because, like I said, I mean, you could play, honestly, 7 rounds in 5 days. That's a lot of golf. I mean, we're athletes, and, you know, we're trained well, and we play a lot, but at the end of the day, it's still a lot of golf to play over 5 days.
Just think if you had to carry your own bag, that'd be brutal.
Oh, I'd be all for that. Because then even the guys who are in better shape are going to have a better chance. So, not maybe, possibly, who knows? But yes.
Here's the other one. If you were the Ryder Cup captain, or even the President's Cup captain in this year, how much stock would you put into this event, and why?
I wouldn't put nearly as much stock as I think. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here, but as some of the people in the media put a lot of stock in this event. Because it's because at the end of the day, it's match play. And there's only 1 day where you play by yourself. And everything else is a team, whether it's 4-ball or foursomes. So I would put more stock in a Zurich event, in my opinion. How well do you play with a partner? How well do you play alternate shot? That is where I would put more stock in. Not to toot my own horn, I've played really well with a couple different partners at Zurich. I've won with Scott Piercy, finished 4th with Sam Burns last year in our first time together. If I'm a betting man, I put a lot of money that we're going to win that event, Sam and I, in the next 5 years, as long as he doesn't kick me to the curve as his partner. Because I think that event goes to show that you can play with different type of players. Obviously, you get to pick who you get to play with. You get to play with your friends, but you get that format. You know, just I think shows more of what I think a captain would look at and how well he can be paired up with a player. Same way as I play the QBE shootout with multiple different people in the QBE shootout, and I've had success with multiple different people in the QBE shootout. Yes, it's less. You know, it's not the importance factor, and it's more laid back, but it still goes to show that you can be paired with different players of different skill level and talent and what you each bring to the table. So I think this event in general, I think gets overweight a little bit because it's match play and it's a single event. But when I'm looking at the point system, there's only 1 point by playing by yourself, and then there's 4 matches or 4 rounds or whatever it is where you're playing with a partner. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is over Wade.
Thanks so much for the time, Billy. Best of luck this week.
Thanks.